Good morning to you. I am Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com here. It is Friday the 30th of June, 2023. And the big topic today will be, of course, the quiet start to July in the Atlantic Basin, but of course the Eastern Pacific. Pretty busy. We have Adrian and Beatrice out there. We'll look at that. Not going to ignore the East Pac just because the Atlantic is quiet. And then a couple of odds and ends, things that we'll discuss, especially at the very end. That little tab over there that says National Weather, you can just kind of see part of it. That's important, and I want to make sure I point out something that I think is very crucial to know as we head into this, kind of a long holiday weekend. I bet a few people are going to take Monday and Tuesday and add it to the Saturday and Sunday that's coming up and enjoy the big 4th of July period that is headed our way. All right, let's get started, shall we? First of all, I want to look at this tweet here from Amy Freeze over at Fox Weather from yesterday. This really captures it, in my opinion. What an amazing time I had, the hospitality they showed me, and really getting to see the inner workings of how they do what they do. They haven't even been around 2 years yet, and how far they have come is remarkable. I love the sincerity. I feel like they are talking to people through their broadcast work and not just at them. The communication skills, the way they convey what's going on, I just feel like it's a wonderful addition to what we have available in the weather world. And I look forward to working with them for many years to come. We've got a lot of exciting ideas and projects in the works, so that really helps to encapsulate how it was yesterday. In the studio with them several times. Fox Weather, if you don't have their app, make sure you get it, and it's fantastic. I know my family likes it, and I'm just thrilled at what we were able to accomplish, not just yesterday, but in the 1 year. I've been working with them for 1 year now, and I look forward to many more. All right. So, of course, Fox Weather has their Hurricane HQ over here at HurricaneTrack. We keep track of that stuff as well. We'll be working with them throughout hurricane season and beyond. And that being said, a good way to segue into the Atlantic where, nope, not much happening. This sort of low pressure area, disturbed area of weather out here, just to the southeast of Bermuda. It is not going to develop into a tropical cyclone. We are almost certain of that. But it is something to watch. I'll show you it more in detail on satellite pictures and animation in just a moment. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Pacific, finally things got busy out there. Here is Adrian now, up to Category 2 at 90 knots. So it's getting there. It's got a well-defined eye. We'll look at that on satellite animation in just a moment. And then here's Beatrice down here much closer to the Mexican coastline, 65-mile-per-hour top winds with that storm. So here's what it looks like on the infrared satellite. There is Adrian. Now Adrian's getting ready to run out of warm water. The colder water starts roughly here. Those anomalies, those very cold anomalies of the eastern and northeastern Pacific. In fact, you can even kind of see how that colder water is getting picked up on infrared satellite, because what does infrared look like? Or look like? That's what it looks like. What does it look at? For the lack of a better way to put it, it's the heat or the absence of heat, infrared, right? And so cold water actually will show up on satellite, just like cold land mass. We can see that. We can even see the Gulf Stream, which is warm. That'll often show up, especially when there's cold air over the Gulf Stream. You can see that little ribbon of warmth because the infrared does pick that up. But that colder water and the more stable air, because of that, low clouds, etc., the cumulus field that you have out there representing very stable conditions. Yeah, Adrian is headed towards that area, and it'll die away. In the meantime, we've got Beatrice down here closer to Mexico. Could be, as there already is occurring, more rain showers and squalls from time to time, maybe some rough surf down there. So any of those resort areas, even the non-resort, quiet villages that are down there, and some of them are beautiful. I've been to Mexico once myself, back in 2021. A remarkable place. It really is very beautiful, especially at the coast. But they've got those mountains, and sometimes that heavy rain can rush down those hillsides and valleys and streams and whatnot, and you can get some flash flooding. So it's just, if you're going there, you know people there, or you are already there, I'm sure you're aware of it, but just keep aware, all right? There's a lot going on in our world every second of every day, and you don't want the weather to sneak up on you, that's for sure. All right, so a great tool, as I mention often from Tropical Tidbits, Here's the satellite shot. We'll just look at it. We click on it, and it animates. Pretty good eye, pretty well-developed eye. Probably getting fairly close to becoming a major hurricane. The cold cloud tops, they're really not that deep. So Category 2 right now, 105. Maybe it makes it up to 110. Hey, maybe it makes it into major status, Category 3 or higher. But look at all of this, lower cloud cover here. The infrared not picking up the higher cloud tops because those temperatures are much warmer, because those clouds are lower in the atmosphere, and that's a more stable environment. It's not going to be long before that core moves over that cooler water. Those waters abnormally cold, colder than they should be, like who's keeping track, right? Colder than the long-term average. The Earth's going to do what the Earth's going to do, right? But yeah, Adrian's headed towards an area where it won't be nearly as favorable. And just real quick, a look at the track map from the Hurricane Center off of Levi's site there, as he's got it embedded on the page, out to sea, farther and farther, and away from Mexico, Adrian will track. So we don't have to worry about that causing any problems to speak of. Meanwhile, we can do the same where we can animate the satellite. Nice close-up floater image of Beatrice, pretty close to the Mexican coastline. Some of that inflow, the air coming off of Mexico, getting drawn into the circulation. Yeah, that can disrupt the core a little bit. You get drier air. It just disrupts it, like if you ingest a bunch of dust and other garbage into your engine, the airflow into your engine. If you have a dirty air filter, yeah, your engine of your car didn't work as efficiently. And the same with tropical systems. You have to have solid, uninterrupted airflow to help that process continue. The track for Beatrice, though, pretty close to the Mexican coastline. The center could touch land. It would be a landfall if it does. But even with the center offshore, even by a few miles, remember, it's not, I just showed you on a satellite, it's not a little dot with an H in it. Those impacts can spread inland enough with heavy rain, rough surf at the coast to cause problems. So, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And the moisture could spread up closer to Baja. Again, water temperature is colder up here, but the remnants, the low-level moisture, that could still be there. And we're going to want to watch this as it approaches the southern Baja in the days to come. Sadly, I don't think that it'll get enough moisture drawn up into the southwest United States to make much difference there. We're in monsoon season, but the monsoonal flow just isn't happening as of yet. So this is a nice product from the University of Wisconsin. You can see the intertropical convergence zone down here. Tropical wave now approaching the Windward Islands. There's our little feature that's trying to do something out here southeast of Bermuda. But there's just something missing in the overall pattern right now. Nothing seems too aggressive or in the mood, if you will, to develop. So we're not going to have any problems here as we end June and get into the first part of July. And that shows up very well on the GFS here. Just watch the main development region through here. And of course, the Gulf and Caribbean over here. There's Beatrice right down there, by the way, in the southeastern Pacific. So let's move this little timeline out. This is from the 6Z run of the GFS. There's that tropical wave. You can see it clearly in the 850 millibar level. Maybe a little bit more amplification of this system that's near Bermuda right now, but that's not much. That's not much of a reflectivity there, if you will, in the lower levels, the 850 millibar level. So I wouldn't worry about that anywhere in the Atlantic. Bermuda, you still might get some showers from it, but as our friend Howard in Bermuda says, the tanks are doing pretty good right now. They don't need much rain, and at least if it's not too heavy, any extra rain hopefully won't be too problematic. But it is interesting. Watch this wave here, this tropical wave. It is going to progress into the Caribbean. So you folks in the windwards, Barbados down to Trinidad, Tobago, and elsewhere, maybe even across the ABC Islands and other islands off the north coast of South America in the next few days. Just watch that little piece of energy go through a low rider, as we call it, riding low latitude-wise in the tropics there. But no, nothing over the next week that says to me, hey, Mark, you got to get ready. You got to put one of those boxes out somewhere. Nope, it's going to be nice and quiet, which is good because I've been traveling a lot in the month of June. I think I was gone 18 out of the 30 days of the month of June. Wow. So it'll be good for me to be home. Probably not going to travel again until towards the end of July, I hope. I mean, I love my work. I love what I do. But when I have to go to work, it usually means something bad is happening weather-wise, usually. So it'll be good if it's nice and quiet for everybody's sake. But later on in July, I will be watching this area, southwest U.S., for the possible return of the monsoonal flow. We'll talk about that later. Right now, it's just hot as you know what in the desert southwest, in parts of the lower Mississippi Valley. But that's not what I wanted to show you. We're all very aware of the heat. It's been absolutely drilled into our brains because, hey, it has been oppressive out there. The smoke, I saw the smoke yesterday as I left New York City and started down the New Jersey Turnpike. I looked across. I couldn't see Manhattan from the Turnpike. I was like, what? Usually you can see it. It was like it had just disappeared. Did David Copperfield come up and make the Statue of Liberty disappear again? Didn't he do that in the 80s? Some stunt on TV? Anyway, the smoke made it disappear yesterday. We need to get rid of all that, but that's not what I wanted to show you. It's this right here, rip current statement, if it'll populate for me there. So I want you to listen to me really closely, okay? I've got a family. You guys have got a family in whatever capacity that is. Rip currents have already killed at least 11 people this year on our shores, okay? And it is just devastating. It's got to be. My wife works in the emergency department in Wilmington. She has seen the rescues that have come in. She's heard about it over the years. I know people in emergency management and law enforcement, fire departments throughout the country. They tell me about these stories, and it is heartbreaking. It is also, believe it or not, 100% preventable. I know that the draw of the ocean is strong. It really is. I get it. But you've got to be careful. You must think, this can kill me. Don't be fearful, but be educated and mindful. Read these rip current statements when they come out. I'm going to get rid of me. Go back to the Weather Service homepage here. It's at weather.gov. Scroll down and look for rip current statement. I know this text is small in here, but you got to look for it. You got to do stuff yourself sometimes. Click on it, and it'll populate with all the areas of the country. This just happens to be in Florida because luckily rip currents are not a real big problem today, but that could change tomorrow. So you read it, you understand it, where it's happening, what can happen, and some of the tips that they give you about how to escape a rip current. It is a very serious effect, whether or not there are hurricanes. Look, I say it a lot. Without you, there's no reason for me to be here. I mean, I would still do it, but it's nicer to have an audience to talk to. All right? And if you die in a rip current, or a hurricane kills you, or whatever the case may be, I can't reach you. That's no good to me. All right? You're better alive. Seriously, I care. Okay? So please pay attention to this. I don't care how old you are, how good of a swimmer you are, how many times you've been to the beach. You got to be careful about those rip currents. And it's there for you, the rip current information, weather.gov. Check it out. Make sure you are aware of it. All right? All right, let's get this online for you. I'm going to check out of the hotel here and make my way down 95 and back home. And I'm going to take the weekend and probably, just the weekend. I've had to think there. I'll be off tomorrow and Sunday. I need it. The tropics will be fine. And I'll see you again on Monday. We'll have a big update. We'll look at all kinds of things as we are there at that point in time on the 3rd of July. So let's make it a date, shall we? I'll see you again on July 3rd. Until then, have a great weekend and a safe weekend. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack. I'll talk to you again on Monday.